Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night. You know what time it is. It's time to get wild and loose. No, it's Tuesday night. It's time for our weekly chats and homestead updates. And yes, I am a dork. So I hope everybody had a really good week. Shall we say hi to whoever's in the chat?
Sure.
Can you see that?
Nope.
You have your glasses on.
Nope.
Let's see here. Lucy says she was second. Starlet apparently came in and said something then left. Let's see here. Who else is in here? HG's in the house saying howdy to everybody. Who's that? Jane Marie. Brother Len's here. How is everybody doing? Ooh, that's. Hang on. Ooh, gotta push my ears in so it doesn't sound funny. It sounded like I was talking in a tin can. Hope everybody had a good week. It was. I'm not gonna say it was a good week last week. We got a lot accomplished. A couple of major irritations happened, but other than that, you know, the dog attack last week, there was fallout from that. Seems to have stopped.
I think they just left for the weekend.
We had several incidences where somebody driving by, apparently their horn was broken on their car, and every time they went by, their car would slow down and they'd honk the horn and then drive off
From corner to corner.
Yeah, very childlike, if you ask me. So I hope these people watch this.
They don't watch this.
No.
They're too into themselves, too busy.
But yeah,
passed out.
but it seemed to have stopped. They must have lost interest. They're going to get really upset. But
Sending them a bill.
the other part of that, my phone died on Thursday night, and all the pictures I took of the incident disappeared. So
Did you call the sheriff?
I haven't had a chance to call the sheriff yet.
You need to do that.
But so now I gotta call and get the police report and get the pictures that they took. One thing about my phone dying, number one, the thievery and fraud that goes on in this world is irritating as all get out, because everything that I do now has multi-factor authentication, and everything, my business, all my personal finances and everything, all have this on there, and I couldn't get anything done because it was all on that phone.
Isn't it too bad that we make everything so hard for the hackers to get into?
I'm saying the fact that we have to do it is a bad thing.
Oh yeah, I hear that every day.
And if we crucified some of them up on crosses or telephone poles, it would probably stop pretty quick.
Problem is, you got to go to the Congo to get them.
This is true. I don't know.
Or Pakistan.
Or Austin, Houston, wherever it was this week.
Asia.
Oh.
China. Houston. What happened in Houston?
Somebody bought something on somebody's credit card.
Oh, what are you talking about? Me?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah. Did you say somebody went and bought fast food with an old credit card of ours?
Oh, so I don't know if that was a scam or not. I don't know what that was.
Oh.
So, because we couldn't find it on any of our cards. So I got a notification that I did some kind, what was it? Fast food thing where you order on the app and then it tells you. And so somebody, it was out of Ohio, stole my email address. And so I don't play that. My job is too important. I don't play it. So then I had the inconvenience. Well, Garen had the inconvenience because I didn't have the patience to go in and change my password and all of that. So, but yeah. So be careful if you think you get an email from me.
Yes. I have to go check on that chick. Somebody sounds like they're very upset.
Probably because they don't have any food or water.
Hey, look, they shouldn't have dumped all their food and water.
They're chicks. They're stupid.
Yes, they are. They can wait. They're not going to die. It makes them harder. But but one thing I spent from the time I left the house to the time I got back was almost 4 hours, and it's only a 20-minute drive each way. And sitting inside the Verizon store waiting for my new phone, I really hate driving into the city anymore. I just, with a passion. I don't care what it's for. I want to get in and get out as quickly as possible. And I sat there and I watched people coming in. Most of them were completely clueless. I actually got to witness a argument between a baby daddy and a baby mama.
Yeah,
That was joyful, you know. But I really don't like going to the city for anything anymore. It's just, is it wrong? We were talking Saturday. We were talking, me and a couple guys were talking Saturday, and if I could have this place be totally self-sufficient, I would stay here all the time. Seriously, I wouldn't leave the property if I didn't have to. And somebody yesterday made the comment that it was 3:00 and she was surprised at how much she'd gotten done by 3 p.m. And if we were independently wealthy, we could do that every day.
Mm-hmm.
If you were independently wealthy, you could do that every day.
Yeah.
In
It was
fact,
actually enjoyable too. It wasn't like it was too much. It's stuff that I try to spread throughout the week. Got it all done yesterday. But consequences to your actions. I washed 2 loads of dishes yesterday, and I've got a load of dishes that I got to go get done. So, but oh well.
but you made enough food to feed us for 2 weeks.
No, you'll go through that before that.
And she made a whole bunch of dog food this weekend too.
A lot. Dog food takes a lot. It takes me every bit of 4 hours, and it's got to cool down. I don't count that time, and then it's got to be mixed and packaged. And
Which I do.
Well, you've started to, and that's a huge help. So, but yeah, because then I don't have to worry about that. But how long do you think it takes you to mix and package the dog food?
Less than an hour.
Oh, well, then you got it easy. I want your job.
You can't reach inside of the pot.
I can't.
She's so short she can't get her arms down to the bottom
I got
of the
a
pot.
great big huge stock pot, and so put it on the stove, and even I mean I need a step stool to get down in there. So
we got a lot done. We did a lot of planting this last week. Almost done with it. Somebody managed to get a hold of a whole bunch of extra tomatoes, and so I've still got to get them in. And then the tribe that I work for, they've got 3 commercial greenhouses, and every year they start a whole bunch of veggies and squash and stuff to give away to tribal members, and they always overproduce. And I brought home probably 200-300 plants.
Mm-hmm.
People in the community.
Only one person has picked any up. Did Caleb pick any up?
Three. Adam, Mr. Hacks, and Caleb.
Oh, I didn't know that Adam got any.
But yeah, so it's it's an opportunity.
When did Adam come? He said he was going to, but I didn't know he did.
You weren't here.
Cowboy?
No, Adam and ACM.
Oh, I think Cowboy was supposed to come get some.
Nope, he never showed up. But it's there. We try to give these opportunities to people. Now, whether people take advantage of it or not,
that's up to them.
Yeah, that's not our concern. We give them the opportunity, and
the plants won't go to waste, because what we'll do, we have a lot of college kids that work for my company. And so, they're trying to get through school. A lot of them are seniors. So, that's broke year. And mom and dad don't want to help you anymore. You got to get a job and then scramble that between school and all that. So I'll grow everything and then take it. We always take extras if he's got anything from harvesters and that kind of thing. I literally just set it in the kitchen and it's gone by the end of the day.
Starla, you don't need to send us anymore. We got more than enough tomatoes and plants right now. Appreciate the offer, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate the offer. I'm sick of planting stuff right now.
Well, she's going to send some seeds. I think those seeds were for seed trade. So if you want to send those seeds, those we'll put out at seed trade in October.
Seeds are good. Seeds are good.
But the plants, I had a girl at work. She said, my neighbor's got a whole bunch of tomatoes. And I said, oh, okay. And I'm thinking like 5, 6, that kind of thing. And I saw her. Well, I saw Lisa first, and Lisa goes, yeah, there's probably about 30 down there right now. I said, did you already take yours? And she goes, yeah. And I said, so wait, what's left? And she goes, I don't know. She was maybe 14, 15. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem.
We're like 40, 50.
She comes up with 2 great big, huge boxes and then leaves them at my desk. And I was like, holy smoke. And I was like, thank you so much. We'll put these to use. And the beautiful part, all but 2 or 3 plants are all paste tomatoes. Yeah. So if we do it right, I finally, for the first time in 5 years, I'm going to be able to put away a lot of tomatoes. I've been running out and getting mad when I run out, because store-bought tomatoes just are not the same as home tomatoes. Yep. So I'm sorry, my nose itches and I don't know why.
So
Somebody's talking about me.
I will get you guys some footage of the garden. In fact, I was thinking about breaking the drone out and getting some drone footage from above.
Yeah.
So that people could see exactly.
Does it still work?
Yeah, it still works.
Okay.
I've had it out. I was chasing the goats and sheep around with it the other day.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
But I want to show people our main garden is about 4,400 square feet, and I think a lot of people don't understand exactly how big a area that is.
Yeah.
Because was it Azure?
Yeah, Azure Standard.
Azure Standard. You know, they put it out there. Right? We've talked about this before.
It's for one person.
For one person is 4,000 square feet, and so we got a little
but
over.
That's a year too.
Well, that's a year's food. I mean, that's one person for a year's food.
Yeah.
But if that's what we're shooting for, right?
Right.
We'd like to be able to be self-sufficient.
Because we have friends of ours that are like family we've known for years and years, and they've got 5 kids. Well, they got property, but they don't have a big enough property for 4,000 square foot per kid. So if we could do some extra square footage to help them out, which she'll come over and weed. So don't know she does. Even when it wasn't her garden, she did, and has been doing it. She would bring the baby over. She had one baby slinging off one end, and the other baby tied to her back, and to her, and Fiona would be out there, plucking weeds and that kind of thing. So, so I know that she will. But we like to do that and help our members. Where
Greer says he just goes to the store and buys tomato juice.
Oh, I forgot your tomato juice.
Well, no, he just. That's what Gregory. That's the position that a lot of people take because they. In fact, I just did a video about that tonight. That's going to be posted up here in a couple of days. They think that the system will always absorb the problems that it faces.
So,
because it always has.
So, not to bring in politics, but you kind of have to in this example. So, good thing, Gregory, you don't live in New York City, because New York City is going to that cashless, no price grocery store where everybody can go in and do whatever they want. Do you really think they're going to be able to pick up tomato juice?
Kansas City started one like that.
Kansas City started one again. Yeah, the first one went out of business, so that didn't teach them anything. So now they got another one. That one, though, you have to have identification for, which I think is really interesting.
It's rather racist. I mean, all the black people won't be able to get their food in the inner city.
I mean, but Emmanuel Cleaver thinks it's just a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, so you'll require ID for groceries to go into a grocery store, but you're not, that was the ice maker, but you're not going to require ID to vote. There's a problem.
I mean,
but the fact is, if it's free, people are going to overindulge.
Think about it.
Nobody knows how to ration.
Think about it. They're the smartest group of people. They're the most educated group of people, yet they're too stupid to get IDs. It's a dichotomy there. Len says his garden is a whopping 128 square feet. Hey, Len, you're gardening. The fact that you're doing something.
28 square feet is a lot of room.
The fact that you're actually doing something puts you ahead of about 95% of the people in the country in that regard.
Yeah.
And you do what you can. I mean, there's a guy in California. He's got a 7,000 square foot property, and he produces, 3 tons of food a year on this property. But every single inch of his outdoor and every single open space in his indoors is made for food production. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's unrealistic to think that everybody's going to do that. Right. That's completely unrealistic. But the fact that if he could do that, then anybody could do something. In fact, I was sitting in church. Guy lives in an apartment. I was telling him, get some 5-gallon buckets, get some potting soil, and
well, that's where you grow up. You grow up, and so he has patio. So no brainer, grow up. That's trellis.
Actually, Susie just canned tomato juice last year. She's on top of things. Good thing
you got Susie.
Good things Gregory's got Susie, huh? Or he'd be drinking store-bought tomato juice every night. How many?
Susie's anything like me. That wasn't juice for tomato juice unless it had to have been. Most of that is probably for food processing.
How many people say they don't have a room for a garden? But I have 54-inch deck, 0-turn mower.
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was one of the things I had a, what do you figure out my garden was? My garden there in the suburbs was close to 2,000 square feet.
It was almost half of our backyard. We only had a quarter acre.
Yeah.
And then
But I was growing vertically too.
Yeah, he went up. And so that's what we say for people to do that. And then we had the other portion was covered by aquaponics and rabbits and quail and all of that. Like, I'm really shocked the HOA didn't get a hold of us. Oh, which I just want to put this out there for all of our friends. And I know a lot of you don't comment, but a lot of you watch. All of our Pleasant Hill people.
Yeah.
Our prayers are with you. And we're really sorry that happened.
That was crazy. Did you know who got shot?
And so it's really sad.
The town that we used to live in had a first murder in 15,
it was an officer-involved shooting. 2 people
years.
Shot, 1 murdered.
Yeah. Right there in the price chopper that was down the road from where we used to live. In fact, our daughter worked there at one point.
Yeah. That was her first job. She was a bagger. And so we just want you to know our prayers are with you all. And I know that's going to be hard for such a tight-knit community.
I did not recognize the name.
Tell you later.
Okay. Yeah. But, so you can do it. Anybody can do it. And HG's right. One of the things that we talked about this weekend, and I kind of mentioned it on the live on Wednesday night. Hex pointed out, anytime you go to the lake, we got a bunch of lakes around here. You see people pulling great big huge boats out of the water every Sunday afternoon. They spend the entire weekend on the lake. They got the money to pay for these boats. And I don't know if you're a boat owner, you put a 1 in the comments if you agree with this. Boats are nothing but black holes in the lake that you throw money into.
It's like having horses.
Period.
Just open your wallet, throw your money out.
They're fun as can be, but at the end of the day, all they do is cost you money. You get some fleeting enjoyment out of it. I know it's just we were lake people. Yeah, Paul, absolutely. We were lake people. We had a place on the lake for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And we had a boat for about 3 years until we got rid of it. And
we were like, can't figure out how we're gonna pay the mortgage. We're a little late on the light bill, but hey, let's go to the lake.
No, but when we started
stupid.
No, when we started doing that, we had that stuff under control.
I don't know. I remember a couple times going, So not that we didn't have it under control, but it was tight. Yeah. It takes work to make that happen. So, but yeah. You did something very special with some friends.
Yes, I did.
Saturday.
Growing up Mennonite, our garden was an acre, which had like 43,000 square feet. I grew half an acre in town, and it should be like 21,000 square feet. And 3 of us are well. Plus, we gave away a lot. Yeah, it fed 3 people well. Yeah, absolutely. And that's at the end of the day, that's the sharing the bounty. Sharing the bounty is what it's all about.
No, that doesn't mean you starve yourself.
Yeah.
You can what you need, get everything together for what you need, and then what you can't process, because sometimes I know when I get bushels and bushels and bushels of tomatoes, that last 1 or 2 bushels, it's going to rot before I can get it processed. So why not go ahead and feed somebody with it, right? So, But I have plenty of people this year that want to learn how to can, and they're like, I'll totally do it with you.
Look,
I will help you. What?
Put your glasses on.
And I will totally help you with it. And so I was like, oh, okay.
She's blind, Megan. She's blind. Give her a second.
Oh, hello, lovely. I love you.
Len says his boat's been in storage for 9 years. Just a 17-foot Lumacraft. Hey, the boat's a boat. They all cost money. Although you could go fishing. Hope you're doing okay, Megan.
That's one thing we could do. So because we canceled, we had a trip we were going to Colorado to take care of his dad. And so, but it was going to be way south of Colorado. They're a much closer drive. We could stay with Aunt Vicky or stay with them. Kids are old enough now. I mean, not inviting myself, Megan, you let us know what we need to do, but we wouldn't have to get a hotel room necessarily unless Aunt Vicky's just like, we don't want nothing to do with you. I had a possibility. I have no idea. But maybe we just go out there for a little bit.
I got.
Doesn't have to be
Did
a
you
long
miss the
time.
part? Did you miss the part where I said I would stay on this property if I didn't have to leave?
No,
Were you not paying attention at the beginning of the
I
video
was.
of the live stream?
I was just hoping. I was
Come stay with her.
Yeah. See,
Yep.
maybe I'll just go. Maybe I'll just go.
Yeah.
Fly away.
So what? I did something this weekend that was really neat.
Yeah.
It was extremely neat. Okay, listen. If talk of Christianity bothers you, tough. You're at the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. Okay. So
I don't think there's anybody
well,
in
no,
here that,
I
that
just
would bother.
if there's anybody lurking in it and they
Um,
don't like this, then that's their
set
problem.
the trolls
That's
off. Who
not mine.
cares?
I am. So after the attack, the dog attack, and my phone dying, and reflecting on some other things that have happened, I decided that I needed to pray over the property. And I was not quite sure how to actually do that. So I asked Mr. Hacks to come down and give me a hand, and he invited Sharpshooter over to help because he's got experience with this too. And we did, it's called staking the property. And there's a gentleman, and I can't remember the guy's name. I'm brand new to this, so I don't remember the guy's name. But basically, he came up with 16 Bible verses that, if you read them in order, tells the story of protection against evil, and how you protect your land, how you protect your loved ones, and how you protect the product of your adventures, right? And it's not a material thing. It's all based around spiritual warfare and all this stuff. And you write these on stakes, and then you drive a stake in each corner of the property. And there's a whole process that we did. Mr. Hacks blew his shofar to announce to the evil spirits on the land that we were there to conduct warfare with them. Number two, we sat down and we read every single one of these Bible verses, all 16 of them. We read them and we talked about them. And we broke them down on what they meant. And then we went to each corner of the property. There's 4 verses for each corner, and we read the verses, and then I drove the stakes into the ground, completely into the ground, said a prayer over them, and we moved to the next corner, and we did all 4 corners. And we came back to the house, and we anointed every single door and every single corner of the outside of the house to seal it off from anything getting in. And then we came inside and started at the back of the house and worked our way to the front door and did that. The only door that we did not get done, and I did pray over it this morning. I didn't anoint it because I didn't have any oil.
Yeah, because it did feel kind of weird.
Was the bathroom?
Yeah.
No, because it's the bathroom and you kind of leave weird stuff in there.
No, it's not it either.
No.
Just didn't feel like the rest of the house.
In all seriousness, though, so when we first started, did the opening prayer and started talking about the Bible verses, reading the Bible verses, I became very emotional, just out of nowhere. I felt it welling up inside of me, and I kind of suppressed it and worked through it.
Gregory said that's a beautiful way for people to come together.
Yeah.
Help each other.
No, Dana.
Mm-hmm.
Dana said it.
Oh, Dana said it.
Gregory says they believe it too. But I felt very emotional, and we read the verses, and I got it under control, and then we went and we started pounding them in. And the final prayer that I said by myself over each one of the stakes is probably the most fervent prayer I've ever done. And when I started on the front corner, first we did the gate post, and then we moved to one corner, the east corner, west corner, east corner, west corner. And by the time we got to the 4th corner, any tension that I felt about the property as a whole had subsided, and it was almost as though stuff had been pushed back, and I was feeling pretty good. It was quite a walk. It's probably a good 800-900 yards from the back corner of the property up to the front corner, and so we were walking back, we were talking, and I felt really good. And as soon as we got to the house and we started anointing the house, I felt that pressure again. I felt as though something was pushing against me. Right? I don't know if it's
The night before, I think they knew it was coming. The night before, a shelf fell off the wall for no reason at all.
Well, no, the shelf fell off the wall because we overloaded it with stuff.
Okay.
Kind of ignored
The
it.
same stuff that's been on it for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then there were just some other stuff, weird things that were happening. And so I don't know. But
by the time we got done with the outside, it didn't feel as strong, but we came inside and we started the back of the house, and the back of the house still needs to be fixed. It's got
some negative, but we think it's because of what needs to be constructed back there.
Yeah, if you're going to talk about energy and stuff, that's where all the negative energy from the old owners is still residing. Everything else up here has been us fighting with it and getting stuff fixed. But but by the time I got to the back of the house, it was really strong again, and by the time we got to the front, I felt much better. And the rest of the day, like the animals were calmer.
A lot.
The goats and sheep outside and the birds were calmer. Now Freya has been
a border collie.
She's a border collie. She's acting like a border collie now. So
she's just as annoying as she was, but this time she's not as loud.
She got the devil inside of her. No, but even she's. I mean, she's more she's excited, happy, not out there barking just to bark and stuff.
They're not. They used to totally like run out the door as fast as they could, and then they would either run at the goats and sheep or all the way at the cross of the property on the west side and bark just as loud as they could. It used to drive me nuts. They don't do that anymore.
Well, it's only been 2 days.
It's Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so 4 days.
But
and of course you'll have to do it again. It's not a one and done.
The conversation that we had was, my big question was, well, what do I do for maintenance? How do I do for maintenance? And the key is just maintaining spiritual study, maintaining, building your spiritual strength, and just continuing to lean on God. Because somebody said last week, God's not going to give us anything we can't handle. He's going to make it very uncomfortable.
It was super interesting because even our friend said, he's like, man, he said, I've been dealt. In fact, we call him Job because he overcomes a lot. Like he gets tested. And he said, I've had some losses. And he said, I've had things happen to me and things fight back at me. He said, I've never seen anything like what you and Angela
we got
have
all kinds of old viewers coming in.
What's up? Homestead us. Hi, my lady.
Hope
Place oil on your corner post and your doorways as you pray protection. We did this with some issues years ago, and we pray on every new animal that comes on the farm. So we'll need to make sure to do that for every new animal.
I just had a sense of deja vu.
What's that?
I think Lynn's already told us that once. I may have forgotten that.
Really?
I think so.
Huh. Okay. And then you can feel the tension and pressure at times, and you speak for it to be gone. Yeah, I agree with that too. You just got to let it go. And so it was really interesting because they did that while I was sleeping, and I had woke up, but when I woke up, I was fine. Just another morning kind of thing, and then I got ready to go because I had errands to do and that kind of thing. But it was very interesting. I still kind of felt weird. I don't know how else to explain it. Like you could feel some stuff. And so I don't know if it was attached to me or what the deal was, but I left the property and it was like, as I left the property and I kept going out, it was just gone. And I didn't notice it until I came home. And when I got home from the grocery store, I came in on the property and I was like, wow, this feels very, very different. And I told him, I said, this feels good. What all did you guys do? And so I had him explain everything to me. And I was like, yeah, no, you can tell this is different. It feels really good, which is super exciting. Probably super exciting for my cousin Megan. So now they can come back because my cousin Megan, when they came to visit and Megan was like, oof, she could feel something. And I was like, yeah, I don't think it'll harm you right now. It's just checking you out. And then her eyes were just like, because she knows, like she's intuitive and that kind of thing. And it was just like, okay, we'll just do our own thing and pretend it's not there. And that's what we did for the week. And I don't know, it just ignoring it worked. but it was causing tension in our relationship. And so we were ignoring it, but it was not ignoring us. And so whatever we got off this property, it feels really good.
They were just talking about that, about how creepy our place was.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? And so, you know, and I don't know, you figure it was Indian land, not but 250 years ago, if
not
even that.
Not even that far.
And then that madness happened in Kansas. And then you figure, you know, all the pioneers that come through here, who can survive, who cannot survive. And then you figure that, you know, the oil crews came through and they were doing that. And so, you know, you're out in the middle of nowhere on prairie. So if there weren't, you know, a lot of provisions, there were probably issues there. So, I mean, I get it. But the other problem we had were the last owners of the property. And so, not that I don't know if they were Christian or believers or anything like that. I have no clue. So I'm not judging that. But I do know that one of the boys had a drug addiction, lived in the back of the house, which is where the majority of the negativity is. And so we got to fix that. Yeah. It's got to get fixed.
Yeah. But I want to say something. So Homestead Oz has been coming on and making comments to our videos. Mm-hmm. And guys, listen, Homestead Oz,
she's amazing.
They've got one of the best channels out there, and due to the constraints of their government and the way things are down in
that was a beautiful way of putting that.
They've had to step back. Go watch some of their old videos. They've got a lot of really good. They own it's what we call a century farm. I don't remember what they call it in Australia, but they own a century farm down in Australia that's just gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And her comments are always very uplifting and very positive, mm-hmm. and I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, I miss our phone conversations. I just listen. I love listening to her talk, and I could just let her talk all the time. But then I think I get sometimes it's America, and so we just talk freely. And we've had phone calls. I've said the wrong word, and when I say the wrong word, they disconnect us. We can't talk to each other. And one time they even pulled out they even pulled out my contact out of her phone. She couldn't call me back. But luckily I was able to call her back. And she says, "You're not going to believe this."
Well, and there was a story this week about a lady that went to Vietnam and got held up getting off the plane. Mm-hmm. And so her first reaction was to pull out her phone and start filming the interaction. And the Vietnamese security person was like, "Yeah, you can film, just don't post it till you leave, because if you post it before you leave,
they'll take it down.
You're probably going to get detained and arrested." Oh, wow. And she was shocked. She was shocked mm-hmm. that she was in another country, and this is the way they treat people. Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of the bad. I don't call it a bad thing. Shortfalls of Americans. Most Americans have never been someplace that's truly oppressive and seen what it's like living under
dictatorship. She's in Victoria.
But they have this weird misconception that every place is like America. The only place that's like America is America. And the only place you get the freedoms that you get in America is in America. Mm-hmm. And it boggles my mind that there are people in the United States that hate it. They literally hate the country, and they want to turn it into A, someplace that they ran away from, or B, someplace where they give up their rights. Mm-hmm. And what went on what's went on and is going on down in Australia, what's going on in Britain, these are the ramifications of
Britain is so bad right now.
Yeah, these are the ramifications of people forgetting their rights, and that's not the right way, because a lot of people aren't raised with the understanding of the God-given rights.
Susie has a friend in Sydney, so yeah, they probably know what's going on. But I don't know, Susie, is your phone bills like mine? If I talk to Homestead Oz, when I talked to her one time, I don't even remember how long it was. Maybe she can remind me. He about died. It was $100 and some odd dollars. And I don't even feel like we were on the phone 20 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah. HG, you can travel, but if you want to go to a shitty third world country, there's places you can go to in America and get the experience.
So I've had a lot of customers lately because, I deal with fraud all day long. And so I've had a lot of customers lately. They've gone to Italy, they've gone to Great Britain, they've gone to, it's been several places. And get this. So remember the old skimmers that they put on the ATMs and gas pumps and all that stuff? It's back.
Oh, it never went away.
It never went away. It's just over in the other countries. And so, but I've been able to link a few of those skimmers from Italy to the Philippines. That's where the charges are coming.
Why does it not shock me?
Right. And so if you're traveling, you best be careful using those ATMs and putting your card in there. And there's no need for you to do it. Call your bank and order foreign currency. Take it with you.
The new one that I saw that I thought was pretty ingenious is, so when you use the gas pump, you pull it out and the little flap goes up and starts the process, right? What they do is they go in and they put a screw in so that flap doesn't close all the way, and it won't. I
know what you're talking about. I've seen that.
It won't do what it's supposed to, but what it does is it keeps the transaction open. Because what a lot of people will do is they'll fill their gas up and just put the thing back in and drive off instead of making sure the transaction is closed out. And so they'll wait, and then they'll come in behind you and fill their.
See, this is why I tap and pay. It's so much more secure to tap and pay.
Oh yeah. Did you hear about the gay imam who made a trip to some Middle Eastern country and found out exactly how they feel about gay imams?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
It did not end well for him.
Well,
it did not end well.
Let that be an example, but it's not going to go in the news, so nobody's paying attention to it.
HG said it. HG just set it up a little bit. He said if you're traveling, just be careful. I learned that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. When I was in the Middle East, we did a couple of things that, in retrospect,
you're the reason why they're dry countries. His unit, not just him.
but we did a couple of things that were probably not the most intelligent thing to do. My buddy and I got caught in the crowd coming out of the most radical mosque in all of the United Arab Emirates.
You guys were trying to call me and his wife.
We were,
so Dave was trying to call Jill, and you were trying to call me.
We were two white guys in a sea of, well, Dave was brown too. Dave was Mexican.
He literally told me, he said, I'm sorry, I've got to get off the phone. I don't feel safe. We got to get back.
Yeah. But that was, and here's the problem. And thank God this is a distinctly American thing that I can complain about this. 99% of the people in the United States have never seen true hatred. They've seen hatred. They've seen people that don't like them, but they've never seen visceral hate. And I've seen it twice in my life. And when you have no power and you see it, it's awful and it's scary. And you really start questioning your life decisions, and I'm not dismissing anybody that's dealt with domestic violence or anything like that. But it's from my experience, I've never been in a domestic violence situation. I can't speak to that. I'm not a female. I've never been through any SA or anything like that.
Well, who's to say I couldn't beat you? I could beat you down.
But
if you want to know what it feels like,
no, you could.
Can you lay down for me and I'll just go at you?
But this, and it's a good problem for Americans to have. I don't want anybody to have to go through that. And unfortunately, times are changing. They are changing, and the tension that exists in this country cannot continue on forever. At some point, it's going to break. Hate to be black pill, but this is one of the reasons why we started the channel, so we could help people with solutions to these sorts of problems. You can't negotiate with the person that wants you dead, but what you can do is you could build insulation into your life, so when the time comes, you don't have to interact with them. And if you do have to interact with them, you are prepared in all means necessary to deal with them in any way you have to.
So this is one of the conversations that we had, about what do we do about that? And, I told Garen, I said, we pray for them.
Supposed intimidation.
Huh?
They weren't very. You talking about the, up down here?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm
I'm
sorry.
talking about. I don't know what you saw, but the Muslims, and we were talking about Israel and that kind of thing. And you just pray for them. And the question came up. Well, is it right for us to pray for them? Yes, it's absolutely right for us to pray for them. We pray for them to see their ways. We pray for the change. We pray for God, even though they don't believe in Him. We pray for God to take the situation and handle it, and
Okay.
that kind of thing. So it was just a discussion that we had, and I thought it was interesting.
2 comments here. I want to address. First, Gregory's, even though his came in second. I think it's a little bit of both. You don't know what you don't know, right? And that's your starting point. And if you've never been exposed to it, then you don't have a frame of reference. Okay.
And sometimes that means reading. So you really learned about the Muslim and the Quran because you read the Quran.
I read the Quran.
It was the most disgusting thing he's ever read.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, you said it was pretty bad. There are sections in there that they allow.
It's antithetical. It's antithetical to American way.
Children are free game no matter what until the age of 9.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to go.
Like that.
Let's not go into that.
But anyway, yeah, no, it's terrible.
But that brings us to Starla's comment. I know many Muslims and have friends that are Muslims, and they're not all that bad. Yes, we have had friends that are Muslim, but here's the point. This is the key thing. This is where people. This is the disconnect where people don't understand the existential nature of it all. They are adherents, Muslims, even if they are believers in passing, like we call them Christians on
Catholics, Easter.
Yeah,
CEOs, Christmas, Easter, and other.
Yeah, even if they're Christians like that, they are adherents of an ideology that is antithetical to everything that America stands for. Islam is not a religion. It is an ideology. It is a social structure. It is a military structure. It is a legal structure. It is a religious structure. The religion is the beard that hides the rest of it. I think so. You get here's something though. Okay, go ahead.
To Starla's defense. So Starla is down in Texas, and we all know what's happening in Texas right now. The Muslims are really, and really, it's the Shiites. So be extra careful with that. And so they're trying to do Sharia law. They're trying to get all this stuff in. It's so bad that the congressmen are having to get together, and they're literally having to figure out how to make a state law so that they cannot do that. And so, of course, in their religion, they're allowed to lie to you. So, yes, they're going to make you think that you were their friend. And yes, they are good, but they will.
Selena was your friend.
So Selena also got yelled at a lot by her mom, even in front of me, because she was becoming too westernized.
Let me address what Starla just said. They don't want you dead yet, and I'm saying it that way for a reason. There's a qualifier here.
They need you.
No, there's a qualifier here. If me as a Christian, if I start living my life exactly like Jesus did, I'm going to be a more loving and caring person, and I will not be out stoning people to death and doing that. If a Muslim becomes a devout fundamentalist Muslim, if they practice Islam the way their prophet practiced it, they will subjugate women, they will take slaves, they will tax non-believers, they will kill non-believers. In fact, Starla, you live in Texas, and there are 2 Sharia courts in Texas right now that have issued fatwas and said it's okay to kill apostates and it's okay to kill non-believers or blasphemers. In Texas,
that's why the congressmen are involved.
The Fiqh Council and the what is it? The Sharia and some legal name, but there's 2 Sharia courts working in Texas, and they've been doing it for over a decade, that have issued fatwas and have upheld, yes, this is what we do. All right. Now, if you find a Christian church that's doing that, like these knuckleheads here in Topeka, those people aren't Christians.
What are you talking about?
The Westboro Baptist Church. They're in Topeka. You can go down and see their property.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they're right down there. They're about 5 blocks from where we got our title going.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you've never driven by there?
No.
Oh, you ought to take some time and go check it out.
Maybe I shouldn't.
These people are nuts. No, but there's the difference. Okay, they're literally one fiery Friday night sermon away from going jihad. Okay, and I don't like saying that.
Oh, look, so Starlet, you have to Starlet. You're not. He's been over there, and I have actually. I did ministry there, and so you may think that, and there's 4 different sects of SECTS, and so there are 4 different types of Muslims, all just equally as bad if they're fundamentalists.
And that's the whole point. You know, we pray for them. The biggest religious conversion in the world right now is Islam to Christianity.
Really?
Did you know that?
I did not know.
Yes, that is the largest conversion group of people converting to Christianity now.
Interesting.
And a lot of them. Now I can't confirm.
Which would
this.
explain why they want to put over 250 mosques in the United States.
I can't confirm this, but the things that I've heard is a lot of them. It's like see Christ in dreams and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, you can defend them. I don't care. I don't care. You can let them into your lives, but you just be aware of what could possibly happen.
And we're not saying go out and hate them and
No,
don't
I
love
don't
on
hate
them
them.
and don't pray for them and that kind of thing. Of course you do. Just be aware and don't get fooled.
You know, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where they can I don't want to be that guy that is the result of somebody. Well, he was never like that. My Muslim neighbor, the guy that went in there screaming Allah Akbar and blowing himself up, he's a good guy. He's a dad. He's a father. You know.
So and I just here's what I don't understand, and I'm just going to simplify it because I've never understood it, and so I'm just going to go ahead and ask. It seems interesting to me that people will hang out and try to be extra with a fundamental Muslim, but they won't hang out with a Satanist. What's the difference? I don't get it. I mean, just simplifying it that way. Or a Christian. Right. So,
and again, this is not this conversation creates a lot of whataboutisms because anytime this starts up, it eventually turns around. Well, what about Christians that don't walk the walk? Mm-hmm. Yes, they don't walk the walk. We are all sinners. I have sinned. I continue to sin despite my best efforts not to. I'm getting better at not doing it. Mm-hmm. But the simple fact is, at the end of the day, if I start living my life like Christ did, like I'm supposed to, the end result is not going to be the same as the Muslim that lives his life like Muhammad.
In fact, I'm going to go ahead and share this story. I think I can. It's been so long ago. And so I'm going to share this story. Very good friend of mine. She was Muslim and she had come over on a medical visa.
I thought she was a refugee first.
So her brother was the refugee. And they got over on the medical refugee because he got shot. They were from Bosnia.
Well, they were in Sarajevo during the siege, and
so her mom and dad ran a bakery, and they were sneaking bread to make sure that people were fed. And so anyway, her brother ended up getting shot, and so they came over. So Selena and I met because we were working together, and very, very sweet girl. We became good friends. And so we would go over. Her mom could cook.
Oh yes, she could cook.
And so I was like, I still need that one recipe. I gotta find somebody.
I'm surprised Selena was as thin as she was.
Yeah,
because the way her mom cooked.
And so the more that we hung out, and the more things happened, her mom would complain, and even with me in front of them. And we were at the dinner table, and she was cooking for us. And her mom would say, "So you're becoming too westernized. You need to stop this." Well, it got to the point that she was so mad because she was becoming so westernized. She arranged a marriage for Selena. And the marriage, you know who she was supposed to marry? One of the men in Florida that flew into the towers. So there you go. He was a nice pilot, made good money, was going to take care of her. And he flew an airplane into the tower. So there
Are
you
you
go.
making that up? I never heard
No,
that story.
yes, no, that's very true. That is very, very true.
But,
Selena was very upset.
and again, Angela said it. I am very wary of Islam and Islamists, because the phrase "the bloody borders of Islam" has truth in it. The Muslim world is the one place in the world where slavery is still practiced openly, or one of the few places it's still practiced openly. The original slave trade was started by Arabs, right? So Islamic Arabs, let me put it that way. Just be careful, please. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look,
So Lexi had a friend that was Muslim. She met her on a mission trip that we did. And the dad didn't know that she was on Facebook. So our daughter. And so they were talking, and they had a conversation that I guess they shouldn't have had. It was over the Bible and that kind of thing. And her dad literally was sending her back to their country. And she told Alexis, and we don't know what happened because we never heard anything after, but she told Alexis she knew that when she got off the plane at home, she was going to die.
Okay, Starla, with your background, the way you were raised, I want you to get into a find a devout Muslim in that group. Find a devout Muslim and have a talk about the Bible, and say the things that you say to me
To them.
to them, and see how well that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about your lukewarm Muslims. I'm not talking about the ones who profess it on Ramadan or Eid. I'm talking about the one that lives it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And see what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not telling you what to do. All I'm saying is be very careful, because that can go south very quickly.
She said she had a conversation with the Sunni from Iraq. There's no way. There's no way. Mm-hmm.
Well, and again, the my experience is there are a lot of Muslims that are just like Christians. In fact, I got a lecture from a retired SAS guy in a bar in Jebel Ali. He was expat that owned this bar. It was probably one of the coolest. It was an English pub right off the main souk in Jebel Ali.
It's not there anymore.
No, it probably is.
I thought they went dry.
It was dry then.
Oh.
It was dry then. And I'm sitting at the bar, and this guy comes in with his little man dress on, and he sits down and proceeds to get just completely tanked. And I was feeling a little belligerent, and I was like, "You're a good Muslim, aren't you?" And he goes, "Oh yes, I'm very devout." And I said, "Yeah, have another drink." And the bartender pulled me aside and said, "Oh, hey, mate," he said, don't do that. They're paying the bills. I have to live here. I was like, "Okay, dude, I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it is. All right. You can do what you feel is best, but just be careful, please. And I did not mean for this whole conversation to
that wasn't
go off
really
this direction.
sideways. It's not even 9:00 yet.
You started it. You're the one that started talking politics, not me.
Sorry.
It wasn't me. I wanted to talk about homesteading stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about food independence and modern self-reliance.
Then let's do it. Let's take control of the conversation back. Let's go. So we not only did that, so then we got all the plants in, and then Garen and I stopped after church last week, and we decided, we forgot some things, so we got some seeds. And I was like, oh, no worries. I'll just go ahead and get everything together. And then
she spent a lot of money on seeds this year.
Well, that's for the whole year, though, babe, because we'll do collards throughout the year. Yeah. We'll do all that. So that was
tell them about the damn collards. Tell them about it. I'm gonna move the camera here in just a second, guys.
So we decided, dog food. We need to make sure we have enough collards for dog food. And then what are we gonna do? Just bring the
no. I wanted to see the whole thing.
Oh God. And so anyway, so we were I was like, okay, so we'll get it. And I was trying to think what I needed for dog food throughout the year. I didn't pay attention to how many seeds were in there. And we've had such a bad experience the last 5 years with seeds. So I was like, man, I really, okay, I need to go ahead and I need to double sew these and triple sew and this kind of thing. I'll just go ahead and do it because they're coming from Tractor Supply. Who knows what kind of quality they are. And Garen goes, I want them individually planted, put the cubes together and then put them in there. And I was like, okay, well, I overseeded because I'd always have problems with them germinating. Well, so
how long
2 days after I planted them.
When did you plant these?
Sunday.
She planted these on Sunday. It's Tuesday. Look at this. This is insane.
No, can't see. See what you done? See what
There
you
it
done?
is. There it is. That is literally.
You can't really tell. That's why you need to bring the tray over.
No,
you
it's
can't really
thick.
tell
They
how
can
big
see
they
it.
are. They're like at least 6 inches in length. So
In 3 days.
we have a lot of collard greens.
They doubled in size overnight the past 2 nights.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of juju you put in that
The
dirt.
juju was you prayed over everything on Saturday.
That may be what the cause is. But I'm like, I gotta get
even the Brussels sprouts. Look how big the Brussels sprouts are.
I gotta get that stuff into the dirt in the next couple of days because it's gonna outgrow the pots.
He's like, you didn't do it the way that I wanted it. And I was like, well, I was trying to do like individual cubes and that kind of thing. And he was like, well, no, I think they need to transplant those. And so literally the next day we were having the conversation and I was like, well, it's okay. I think I can transplant those. I got like these small greenhouses things and they're like 6 pods or something like that. I'll just transplant them in those. And then I didn't get to it that night. The next morning is when we woke up and we went, oh man, I mean, there's no way you can't transplant them at this point to those and then get them out in the yard. They're just ready for the yard.
Dana, that is just regular. Well, it's
collard greens, broccoli, Brussels sprouts.
It's homemade garden soil.
Oh yeah.
And there's no fertilizer in it. That is just the grow lamps and the homemade.
No, there's fertilizer. I put the vermilite in there.
The vermiculite's not fertilizer.
It's worm cuttings.
No, the vermiculite.
No, I did the worm one.
Okay, that's fine. That's natural. That's not fertilizer. That's just natural stuff. That's all. Mm-hmm. That's all. Home sifted dirt and
vermilite and coconut core.
Or coconut core. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is bamboo compost. So that's what that soil is. That's what I start with.
Mississippi says their collard season is over. But your zone 2, 3 maybe? Depends on where you are in Mississippi. Yeah, but so they're growing.
No, they would be higher. They're probably 10, 8 or 10. Somewhere in there.
No, because it goes from bottom to top.
No, we're 6.
Yeah, and it goes down.
2 is north.
No.
Okay.
Anyway.
Are you sure about that? I don't know. Now I'm going to have to look it up because now I'm confused. No, because we did.
Oh, I was wrong. He says he's 9A.
Yeah, see?
But yeah.
Which means they get a longer growing season, I thought.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
See, they're getting into the summer crops.
Oh, yeah.
See, it's just now the past week and a half, not even a week and a half. Maybe.
So Mississippi, how do you preserve your collard greens? I was thinking about freeze drying, but it's a lot of collard greens to freeze dry. So I was trying to figure out, and I don't really want to can them because I don't want to over process them because that's part of my dog food. And so I'm trying to figure out about.
Yeah, it's been chilly here. In fact, it's only been like the last week that the ground temperature has started.
I just literally got out of wearing sweaters.
Mm-hmm.
I may have to put a sweater back on this weekend. Well, no, I'm gonna go visit.
Yeah, Gregory, we're about 2 weeks behind on where we normally are this year.
Yeah. Which is weird because everything is like growing great. So super strange.
Well, because we've got a lot of water this year too.
Yeah, that's true.
Taters almost ready to plant. Sweet potato. We just put sweet potatoes in.
The sweet potatoes went in. Those went in. We've been working on it for a month. Sweet potatoes in.
Good thing about
slowly been going in.
Good thing about sweet potatoes, those things are hardy.
Well, they're sweet potatoes, so they have a longer season.
Try to eat seasonally. He says he doesn't
eat what?
Them. Mississippi says they don't save them; they try to eat them in the season.
Yeah. Well, I need dog food, so it's kind of what I'm thinking.
You know what?
We're just freeze it.
We're gonna freeze it because it gets boiled anyway.
Yeah, that'll work.
And then run through a grinder.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured out that dog food, and the dogs are so happy, and they're so much healthier.
Yeah. And I did manage to process the 6 turkeys and the guinea that died. I was able to process them. I pulled the breasts out of them, and I got almost 10 pounds of breasts off those birds. There's some huge.
Yeah, he didn't take anything else. I wish he would have, but
No, everything
it
was just
too
torn
late.
up, and it took me so long to get to
There
them.
are puncture wounds and a lot of stuff, and you don't know what the dogs had, and we don't want to transfer that to our dogs. So, because any meat, I do raw. So they get the raw meat, and then I process rice, carrots, sweet potatoes, collard greens, and mustard greens.
We learned
So-
the hard way about using regular potatoes because it made the dogs gassy.
Oh, it was
It
terrible.
was bad.
Terrible. Well, they got sick. They were vomiting too.
Oh, were they?
Remember? Yeah, it was weird. So no more regular potatoes. But I think that was the first time I had put regular potatoes in the dog food. So because I just had some that needed to be used up, and it didn't work out.
Dana, these were turkeys. They were Royal Palm turkeys. They were males, and the males. The 2 males would have dressed out at over 30 pounds easily.
Yeah, we usually get for the hens run about 28, 29 pounds. So no, we had one that was 32 pounds. And then
couldn't fit it in the roaster.
Yeah, like the legs were all sticking up, and I was like, foil everywhere. I got it cooked, but then the toms are usually about 29 to 33, 34, somewhere in there. And the sucky thing is we had toms sold that need to be butchered. And so now it's going to leave us a little slim, and the incubator's not doing so hot. Not sure what's going on. So
I think we lost all the eggs in the incubator.
Yeah.
Well, and Mama Turkey was sitting on 10 eggs, and none of them hatched either.
So I don't think it's the weather, but I don't know.
The only hatchlings we've had so far is we had 3 Californians.
Yeah, and that was natural.
That was natural. I pulled them as soon as they were born.
So our incubator got unplugged. The thing is, we don't know how long, because he thinks he might have done it and it was only 8 hours. Well, that should be okay. However, 4 days before that happened, I sent somebody over to unplug the light, and accidentally, possibly it could have got unplugged. So it may have been 4 days. 4 days will make a difference. 8 hours will not. We're not really sure where we are with that. Now, I'm taking it as we may be 4 days behind, probably wishful thinking, hopeful thinking. But so we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
We'll know within the next week or two.
We'll be able to smell if there's a problem.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll just
start over.
We'll get turkeys and ducks from people that hatch.
Well, we got turkeys. We have plenty. The turkeys are still laying, so we got plenty of those.
They quit laying.
Oh, did they quit laying? All right. So Jeff's have probably quit laying too. So we'll just start over again next year. Not a problem. Not a big deal. So.
Well, don't they lay eggs twice a year? Won't we get eggs sometime later when it starts?
Oh yeah, when it starts to cool down again.
Because the ones that got killed were hatched out.
Do you want to brood them though? Because they were in the house for a long time. I don't know. We'll have to think on that one.
They weren't in here that long.
I could just order turkeys.
Yeah. We'll get it figured out. It's not a big deal. Or if we just do it next year, we just won't have turkeys to sell next spring.
I hate to do that. We'll make our money back if we buy them.
It is what it is, right, guys?
Always something.
Okay. Well, it's 9:00.
All right. That's my time to sign off. So he's going to get political. Those of you that haven't seen in a while, I have a career that I really enjoy, and so I don't get into politics.
Unless you're talking about Islam stuff.
Well, I try not to, but anyway, I'm pretty sure I'll be forgiven for that one if something were to come awry. We just don't mention who I work for and that kind of thing. That's what we do. But he gets wild, so
I don't get wild.
He talks about things I can't, and so I just have to leave the situation. But I also have dishes to do and work to do. So until next time, be at least 10% better than you were today.
Only 10%. No more, people.
No, you need to be more. But if you are more and you do it and you accomplish it, I really want to know, how did you do it? So, of course, I don't know. I was like 100% better yesterday. So I was like, that was really cool, everything that I got done.
Megan says, "Bye, honey. Love
I
you."
love you too, Megan. Stick around for this one's crazy. Love you. Bye, guys.
I don't get. I don't know where you get this. I get crazy.
It's just a
I don't talk crazy. You know, all we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the news. We're gonna look at news articles. Now, is it my fault that some of the news is crazy? Is it my fault, guys? Is it my fault that?
Just do it. Just do it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So some very, very interesting things have happened today, and this last week. But these are basically things I saw in the seen in the news today. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Now, has anybody heard about the Paxton Corian race down in Texas so far today? It's a very interesting race, and hopefully, you know, Corian is one of those guys that's been in Congress a long time. And Dana says, "Good night, Mrs. Grumpy."
Good night.
And it'd be nice to see them go away. I saw a meme today. And, you know, George Washington only spent 8 years in office. John Adams only spent 10 years in office or something like that because he was vice president. Yeah, 10 years, I think. Thomas Jefferson spent 4 years in office. Between Bernie Sanders, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Mitch McConnell, almost 200 years in office just between those four people.
What?
Yeah, if you add all the years in office they've been, it's been, but when you combine them all,
Between four of them?
almost 200 years in office. Right? Some of them look that old. Nancy Pelosi looks that old. You know,
Nancy Pelosi's like 92.
And no, she's only in her 80s. But you know, you and I. Let me put it this way: if you're like we are, you know, you make enough to get by, you live a comfortable life, you do with what you got, right? Tell me how a congressperson that makes $174,000 a year becomes a multimillionaire after just one term in Congress, 2 years or 4 years. How does that happen? All right. You know, and I will say this. So one of the, if you didn't watch the, Corian lost. Good. Not a big fan of his. Not sure Paxton's going to be much better, but hey, let's see how it goes. But anyway, you know, it came up in the live we did on Wednesday. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch it. It's about an hour and 40 minutes long, but it's a really good conversation. And I agree with this sentiment. You know, left wing, right wing, they're both wings of the same bird, right? But there's a qualifier there. If you can honestly look at the results of the left-leaning politics versus the results of the nominally right-wing politics, and tell me that the outcome is exactly the same, then I'm gonna call you a liar, because they're not. You know, and it's a matter of semantics. You know, it's a matter of how quickly you run off the cliff. The Democrats and the leftists in America want us to run off that cliff immediately, whereas the rhinos and Republicans in Congress don't want us to run off the cliff quite as fast. Personally, I would rather have the extra time to try to prepare and try to fix things and make the landings easier than have us die immediately or have it go immediately. Speaking fees, book deals, doing things at those fees and sales. Well, don't talk about that. Yeah, you know, all I got to say is go look at the Pelosi index as far as stock trading goes. And there's a company out there that tracks Nancy Pelosi's trades, and which, because of the way the reporting system is, they're usually 4 days to a week behind the actual trades, just because of the way they're reported. They had a 25% return on all their investments, if I remember correctly, which is, you know,
I thought she was going to be prosecuted for inside
no,
trading.
they can't prosecute because it's not a legal form to inside trade. You know, but if you got money to lose in the stock market, go find the Pelosi index, and you're going to have a higher return than Warren Buffett did or does. All right, that's just saying what it is. Yeah. So again, if you think that they're exactly the same, then I got a bridge I want to sell you. Oh, what were some of the other ones I saw? Well, the Sharia court one was one I wanted to talk about too, but we already discussed that. Oh, here's a good one. You guys will love this. Who put a one in the chat if you're a hunter or a fisher? If you do that in your state. You know, I enjoy hunting.
Lynn just got his fishing license today.
Lynn just got his. He could put a one in there.
Gregory's got one for $5.
You know, so there's a proposal in Oregon for the November ballot to make hunting and fishing illegal in the state. Wow, just wow. They literally want to control the food and the people in Oregon. And here's the question. One of the questions that somebody rose on that article that was in the no spin zone, by the way, on X. Is this a bridge too far? Are the leftists pushing it too far in this regard? Yeah, Dana, illegal to hunt and fish in Oregon. That puts the state in complete control of your food. Yeah, Oregon is nuts. I don't think Oregon's look again. Much like Starla's Muslim, there are good people in Oregon that don't buy into it. Only difference is if they go fundamentalist, you know, well, I don't know, they might go crazy and like overfish and overhunt. You never know. They could. It's been known to happen. I don't know if you guys knew this. So the deer population in 1920 Missouri was estimated to be about 4 million deer. That's the Conservation Department, the Forestry Service. They did a survey. So they got the herd in Missouri was about 4 million deer. During the Great Depression, there was unregulated hunting, and by 1943, 45, sometime during World War II, they estimated that the herd in the state of Missouri was only about 7,200 animals. And it wasn't until the mid 80s that they had like regular hunting seasons. Up until I remember when I was a kid in the 70s, hunting season was a big deal because you basically had to be in the lottery to get a buck tag in Missouri. And they finally got the herd up. And the last time I checked, the herd was sitting right around 3 million animals. So humans can decimate the wildlife. And this is one of those things. It's one of those preparedness things. You know, I make fun of people that say, oh, I'm going to go out and live off the land. I'm going to go live in the woods, and I'm going to hunt, and I'm going to be a survivalist that way. Yeah, so is every other knucklehead that thinks the same way. And, you know, take Kansas City. You're going to have hundreds of thousands of people vying for the same resources. How long do you think that's going to last? Seriously. This is one of the reasons why hunting is a great supplemental way for food, but relying on it in an emergency is probably not the best. Probably not the best strategy. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. This was in Colorado. I think Lynn may put a one. Colorado is nuts after this one too. So there was a woman in Colorado saw a guy wearing an ICE t-shirt that supported ICE, and she made a big deal about it, made a TikTok video, tried to make it go viral, trying to shame the guy. To his credit, he was like, screw you. You know, it's gotten to the point where if you do not kowtow to the beliefs of the radicals, I'm going to say this on the mega side of the equation too. This is true on both sides. But if you don't kowtow to them, you're not allowed in the public space. All right. And that's almost as un-American as you can get. Right. Now, there are certain things that are harmful to society. You know, I'm not going to go into what I think they are. You know, it's a personal thing. Okay. But there are things that are, you know, diddling kids. That's not good for society. And that's not something that should be talked about in a positive manner. And it's not something that should be condoned. All right. But these people in our society, you disagree with me, so you're evil. So you should not be allowed in the public space. These people need to be shut down. All right. And if you know somebody like that, or they behave like that, you know, I'll go back to Charlie Kirk. All right. This is one of the things I admire about Charlie Kirk, because he was able to do this, and I can't, is he was able to open dialogue. And that's why he was assassinated, because he was opening dialogue, and he was exposing people to new thoughts and new ideas. And to the radicals on both sides, that is unacceptable. Let's talk about Steve Pratt for a little bit. This guy, if you don't know who Steve Pratt is, he's running for the Senate in Maine, and he's a walking dichotomy. He's a very unique individual. So he started out as a literal Nazi. He actually has a Nazi tattoo on his chest. I'm sure once I say that, you probably know, at least have an inkling who I'm talking about. So then he became an avowed communist. I guess that Nazism was not far leftist enough for him, that he had to go the full distance. He became a communist. And we get it. You're a communist. You think you have the right to other people's stuff, but you're too much of a pussy to get it yourself. So you want the state to do it for you. Okay. That's socialist and communist in a nutshell. All right. Pardon the language, but that's true. Yeah, Gregory. He's got the Totenkopf, the death's head on his chest. That's the one that the second SS Panzer Division used, or the SS Division used, and the guards at all the SS guards at all the camps wore. And he espoused Nazi ideology. I mean, he was an avowed Nazi. And again, then he becomes a communist. How you make the leap from from Nazi to communist? It's kind of a mind-blowing thing when you think about it. But he managed to do it, and he's proof. He's proof of one thing, and there are Republicans like this as well. Yeah, third, not the second. I'm sorry. Second was Das Reich. Anyway, they'll vote for him just because he is on their side. All right. How do I put this? Let's use it. What?
Is that part of your butchering kit?
No, that's yours. It's one of those nice ones. It's one of those nice Viking knives that you got. I found it. It fell underneath down where the bags are.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Anyway, Angela found a knife that was lost for a while. She forgot she had it. Actually, I found it. She just saw it in the wash it in the dishes. Anyway, let's use Trump. Let's use Trump as an example here. Okay. Trump backs a candidate and he wins. The guy, the Gallegos guy in Kentucky that beat Massey. And again, I'm not a big Massey fan. I thought he would have been a great ag secretary like they wanted him to be, but that just didn't happen. The guy beat him because Massey alienated a bunch of voters, and then Trump went in and boosted the guy that won. How the guy won, I don't know. I just don't understand it. But people will vote for a guy just because Trump says, yeah, vote for him. They don't do any research whatsoever. And I was really heartened because Trump came out and he endorsed one of the candidates on the Missouri side for Senate. A lot of people, the morning news was talking about it on the Pete Mundo show, and a lot of people texted in and said, "Yeah, I don't care if Trump supports a guy or not. I'm going to vote for the best candidate." That's the way they should be. And the guy here, there's several really good Republicans running for governor, and Trump came out and endorsed one of them today. And I'm like, yeah, he's probably not the one I would vote for. So I in the primary, I will probably not vote for this guy because he's not the candidate I want. But it's again, different wings on the same bird. Do you want the wing that wants to kill you and subjugate you quicker than the other one? You vote your conscience in the primaries and you vote pragmatically in the general. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's see. We did the not welcome there. The Parent of the Year award. This lady was in California and her trans son beat a bunch of girls in a track meet, and the school district magnanimously allowed the girls that lost to stand on the podium with the boy that beat them in the girl sport. And the mama of the trans kid was very upset. Why were those losers allowed up on the stage with her baby? Her baby won that race fair and square. Parent of the award right there, or Parent of the Year award. That mom is a walking definition of why that kid is so screwed up. All right. The 1 and 2 year olds, 5-year-olds don't talk about trans stuff until they are subjected to it by some very misaligned adult that needs to go get therapy. Seriously. It is not something that's natural. All right. And when it happens in teenagers, usually it's confusion, body dysmorphia, and studies have shown that if treated properly with therapy, that it goes away naturally, and people become who they're supposed to be. And as a Christian, God made us the way we are. All right. He did not make a mistake. Yeah, absolutely. He made us he made us the way we are. Do I like the fact that I've been overweight my entire life and I've been slower than all the rest of the kids? No, I'm not. I don't like that. But you know what? It's the way I am, and you learn to deal with it. All right. That's what functioning adults do. And you don't transfer. It's kind of weird that the national rate of body dysmorphia or the trans kids is like less than a fraction of a percent. This is before all the hype the last 4 or 5 years, but it was like less than a percent. Yet Hollywood, something like 17 to 18% of all kids of Hollywood stars are trans. I wonder why that is. I wonder how that statistic came about. Could it have something to do with the morality of the parents and the ethics that they hold? Could it be that maybe they're using those children as status symbols to get more recognition for their fragile egos? I don't know. That you guys think about it and let me know. Let's see here. What else? You know what? I'm just going to leave it on that. We talked about some good stuff. That we got a lot done this week. Here's something cool. I want to share something with you. You guys are going to be the first ones outside of my immediate circle that have seen this. Let me bring it up. Boom. I'll make it smaller. So this is the new www.grumpy-acres.com. This is my new website. And it is live now, and it's a companion piece for the full spectrum preparedness framework. Is you'll see the main page You can learn all about full spectrum preparedness. You can learn more about Grumpy Acres. It's got a blog that I'm going to be posting to on a regular basis. It's got a link to buying the book, which is doing well. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody that supported me. If you go to, it's got an overview of what full spectrum preparedness is. Oh, there it is. You can look at the framework, and it'll discuss each one of these. And each blog post is going to be tagged with something, so you can go explore what we're doing with each one of the 10 aspects. There's still a lot of stuff that needs to be done on this. The basic framework is done, but this is a companion. Okay, this is a companion to the full spectrum preparedness, and it's going to talk about everything that I talk about in the books that I'm writing about full spectrum preparedness. The City Survival 101. I'm doing a framework book right now. We're going to have hopefully a different book for each one of the 10 aspects. So Len finished the book and he left a review on Amazon. You know what? Am I supposed to get? No, I guess I wouldn't get notification. I'm going to have to go read it. Hopefully Len was nice. Hopefully it was written well enough that he left me a good one. I just don't tell me. I want it to be a surprise, Len. I want it to be a surprise.
Oh, I gotta look.
Okay, Angela's gonna go look, and if Angela yells some nasty words, then she's breaking out her phone. She can't wait till this is over. Thank you very much. I appreciate you leaving a review. That's all I ask. Seriously. I hope everybody leaves a good one, and if you don't, I hope that one's left. Huh?
Just for them to be honest.
Yeah, be honest, because that's going to make me a better author as I go on. And it's rather, there's a lot of hubris for me to think that my first effort is going to be received like 100%. This is a great book, because it's not. It's my freshman offering, and
you didn't change the price on it.
Oh no, I forgot to change the price. Oh, and if I've got books in, if anybody bought a book and waiting for us to send it with the dedication in it, got them. I'm going to finish signing them tonight, and we're going to get them out as soon as possible. What's that look for?
Huh?
What's that look for?
I didn't give you it.
No, you were looking at the phone. You had this funny.
Oh, because I'm squinting. I need new glasses.
Oh, she's squinting because she's blind. She needs hearing aids too.
I heard that.
She heard it. Let's see. I keep getting the new website wrong. I can't find. Okay, it's Grumpy. Here, hang on. Banners. Let me post it in here. Create a banner.
Oh, we got sponsored based on our recent review.
Let's see.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, so there's the URL for the new website. If you go there, you find. I ought to make a QR code so people could just click on it while we're on the video. Maybe I'll do that next week, just to make it easier for everybody. But I'm pretty proud of it. If you guys need any website development done, let me know. I will put you in touch with Brittany. She's the one that I told you about that did the Refuge Medical website and has worked with Bear Independent, and she's done a couple other sites. I really enjoyed working with her. The price that she quoted me, it went a little over, but that was my fault, not hers. I wanted some changes done late in the game because I saw she was doing it the way I wanted her to, and I was like, okay, no, we need to adjust this a little bit. So naturally, that costs a little bit more, but the price is very reasonable, very, very reasonable. So if you got any work that needs to be done on the website, let me know. And she said, yeah, put them in touch. Okay. And you can go look at the website. In fact, I'll show it again. She did a fantastic job, and she did it ultimately exactly like I wanted. Very happy with it. It's better. Like the new logo too. Look at that logo. Isn't that a great logo? Baby, but the colored background, Baby even looks more grumpy than he normally did. I liked it. I like it. Okay, guys. Here's what we're gonna do. I want you guys to here. Let me bring this. Let me take this off. Here's what we're gonna do. Spags isn't on here tonight, at least unless he's lurking. I don't know if he's lurking. It's pretty late. It's past his bedtime. Him and Jenny bought some Grumpy Acre t-shirts from our spread shop, but he bought them in red. All right. And so I was giving him grief about it. I was like, I noticed you bought it in Soviet red. I'm going to post a picture of him and his wife. He said, use it how I want. So I'm going to post it in the community. I want everybody to go in there and I want everybody to tag him in the response. It's the @Spags Unfiltered. Tag him in the response. And I want you to ask a question. Why is that shirt communist red or something to that effect? I want to just blast the comments in the community section with that just to see what he says. I know what he told me, but I want to see what he says when more people say it. But don't let him know that I told you this, okay?
What shirt did they get?
They just got the Grumpy Acres logo, the black outline. But the shirts are very, very red. I mean, they're like redder than that. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll do that. Just remember when you see that to go out and do that. Let's see what else we got. Book sales. I've been working on some new designs. I'm going to try to have a Father's Day design up here in the next day or two. I will say this: if you try to use AI to generate a First Crusades knight kneeling praying over his sword,
Can't happen.
Apparently that violates public the content guides for some AIs.
You're kidding. That's a problem.
Well, it is what it is. I was working on it, and I finally got the image kind of the way I wanted. Then all of a sudden, it was like, as soon as I mentioned praying over his sword, it was like, oh, that's a violation of our community standards or community content. What do you? Oh, it must be 9:30, so people are barking. Would you hush? Stop. All right, guys, I do need to go put chickens away. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope that you enjoyed the evening. I enjoyed spending it with you. You should look up. Look up the Operation Vampire Killer 2000 PDF written in. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that one. That just the name. Just the name. It's like I said. I got to generate the money for somebody to illustrate it. I am working. I've got the first version of the grunt version of the city survival book done. It turned into a bigger animal than I thought it would. I'm getting ready to send it to some. In fact, I'm going to send it to some people tomorrow so they can read it and give me some feedback on it. Tell me if it's there's still too many big words and thinking in it. But I condensed a almost 300-page book down into about 19 pages, so it is pretty damn simplified. And then I just got to work on the illustrations in it. But guys, listen, seriously, thanks for showing up. We enjoy spending this time with you. I want you guys to go out. Number one, be safe, make good decisions, become prepared. None of this happens by accident. It's all intentional on both sides, us being prepared and what they're doing to us. Number three, go out and live.
Wrong, but I'm still ready. Most people think preparedness is about fear. It's not. It's about responsibility. The lights are still on, stores are still open, the systems still work, just not the way they used to. And most people don't notice the pressure until it reaches their front door. City Survival 101, the full spectrum urban preparedness guide, isn't about panic. It's about understanding how modern systems really work and how to keep your household operating when they don't. Real world preparedness for real world people. No fantasy, no fear porn, Just practical systems that buy you time, options, and control. Available now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover.